Guys, here's the thing. Most men are so focused on the big moves, they completely miss the little ones that actually make women chase them. I'm talking about those tiny, everyday actions you probably don't even notice yourself doing, but when you do them right, they flip a switch in our heads. It's confidence without trying, leadership without words, and it makes us want to get closer. So if you've ever wondered why some men draw women in without chasing, these 9 daily actions are the reason. And trust me, once you start owning these, you'll see the difference fast. Number 9, walking like you own the space. Not strutting, not rushing, just a steady, grounded walk. Shoulders back, head up, eyes scanning your environment. This is primal. Studies show women instantly read a man's gait to assess competence and dominance. You don't even need to speak. Just by how you move, we're deciding whether you're the man people notice or the one they overlook. Here's what's happening in our brains. Researchers at New York University found that we can assess a man's attractiveness from his walk alone in under 3 seconds. The stride that gets our attention, wide steps, slight swagger, controlled pace. It's what body language experts call territorial locomotion. You're not just moving through space, you're claiming it. I see guys shuffle in with their hands in their pockets, eyes down, trying to slip by unnoticed. That screams insecurity. Then there's the guy who walks in like he belongs there. Not arrogant, just present. That's the one we follow with our eyes. Number 8, ordering without looking at the menu. You know what's rare? A man who walks up, knows what he wants, and orders it without fumbling. Whether it's at a bar, cafe, or restaurant, that calm decisiveness is ridiculously attractive. It tells us you're used to taking charge and don't need to second-guess yourself. Evolutionary psychologists call this resource acquisition confidence. In ancestral times, the man who could quickly identify what he needed and go after it was more likely to survive and provide. But here's the psychological twist. Decision-making speed is linked to leadership ability. A Yale study found that people who make faster decisions in low-stakes situations are perceived as more competent leaders. So, when you order that whiskey neat without hesitation, our brains are subconsciously filing you under, "This guy has his shit together." I've watched men stand at a coffee counter for 5 minutes, asking about every drink option, changing their mind twice. Compare that to the guy who walks up and says, "Large cold brew, black." Guess which one I'm still thinking about 10 minutes later? Number 7, calling out something interesting about the room. Instead of the generic, "So, how's your day?" Try this, make a sharp observation. "This place feels like an old speakeasy. That mural looks like it's hiding a story." It shows situational awareness that you're not just existing in the space, you're engaging with it. This taps into what social psychologists call environmental mastery, the ability to read and interpret your surroundings. It signals intelligence and observational skills. Neuroscientist Dr. Matthew Lieberman found that people who demonstrate high situational awareness are perceived as more socially intelligent and attractive. When you notice details others miss, it suggests you'd notice details about us too. That's magnetic. I remember being at a gallery opening where most guys were either staring at their phones or making small talk about work. One man walked up and said, "That painting in the corner, the brushstrokes look angry, like the artist had something to prove." Instant conversation, instant intrigue. Number 6, saying no without justifying it. This one is huge. Most guys over-explain. "I can't because I'm busy, because this came up, because..." Stop. A simple, calm, "No, that doesn't work for me," period. It shows strong boundaries. Women equate this with emotional strength and self-respect, 2 traits that make us chase, not pull away. Research from the University of California found that people who justify their boundaries excessively are perceived as less confident and more manipulable. When you say no without the paragraph of excuses, you're demonstrating what psychologists call autonomous decision-making. You're showing that your choices come from internal conviction, not external pressure to please everyone. Most men are so terrified of disappointing people that they'll twist themselves into pretzels, explaining why they can't do something. But the man who can calmly decline without guilt, that's emotional maturity we rarely see. Number 5, laughing off your own screw-ups. Drop your drink, mispronounce a word, forget someone's name, laugh, own it. Do you know how attractive it is when a man doesn't fall apart over minor embarrassment? Women read that as emotional control. You're signaling, I'm comfortable with myself. This is what psychologists call emotional regulation under stress. Dr. Barbara Fredrickson's research found that people who can find humor in their failures recover faster and are perceived as more emotionally stable. There's also an evolutionary component. A man who doesn't crumble under social pressure signals that he won't crumble under real pressure either. Our brains interpret your ability to laugh at yourself as emotional strength. I've seen guys spill coffee on themselves and spend the next 20 minutes apologizing profusely, drawing more attention to the mistake. Then there's the guy who spills and says, well, that's one way to wake up, laughs and moves on. Guess which one we find more attractive? Number 4, holding eye contact when she talks. Here's the thing, everyone locks eyes when they're talking. But when she's speaking, holding that calm, steady eye contact makes her feel like she has your full attention. It's grounding, it's intimate, and it sets you apart from the men who are just waiting for their turn to speak. Neuroscientist Dr. Mauricio Delgado found that sustained eye contact during listening activates the brain's reward centers, the same areas that light up during pleasurable experiences. Most people are formulating their response while you're still talking, but when you're fully present, actually listening with your eyes as well as your ears, it creates what psychologists call felt understanding. We feel seen, not just heard. I notice this immediately in conversations. Some men's eyes glaze over or they're clearly planning their next comment. But the man who maintains that steady, interested gaze while I'm speaking, that's rare, and it makes everything I say feel more important. Number 3, ending the conversation first. You know what makes women chase? Leaving them wanting more. Most men linger until it gets awkward. Flip the script. When the energy's good, wrap it up yourself. Good talking to you, I'll catch you later. It plants the idea that you've got a full life and places to be. This leverages what behavioral economists call the scarcity principle. When something feels limited or finite, we value it more. Dr. Robert Cialdini's research shows that people want more of what they can't have. Most guys will talk until the conversation naturally dies or becomes awkward. They'll linger, hoping to squeeze out more connection, but actually diluting the quality of the interaction. The smart move? Exit on a high. I've been in conversations that felt magical until they dragged on 10 minutes too long. But the man who can sense the perfect moment to leave, that conversation replays in my head for days. Speaking of leaving her wanting more, look, these signals I'm sharing are just the tip of the iceberg. The women watching this know I'm giving you guys the real playbook here. If you want the complete picture, all 25 forbidden signals that most men completely miss, I've put together a detailed breakdown that goes way deeper than what we can cover in one video. We're talking about the subtle lip movements, the way she positions her feet, those accidental touches that aren't accidental at all, the kind of signals that, once you see them, you'll wonder how you ever missed them. I'll drop the link in the description. And here's the thing. This isn't some generic dating advice. This is the actual code women use when they're into you but can't say it directly. Check it out if you want to stop second-guessing and start reading her like an open book. Now, back to our countdown. Number 2, remembering a throwaway detail. This one's simple but devastatingly effective. She mentioned her dog's name last week? Ask, how's Max doing? She mentioned a big presentation. Ask how it went. It shows you were actually listening, and that makes her feel singled out. Here's the psychology. Remembering small details activates what researchers call the recognition heuristic. Dr. Daniel Schachter's research found that people who remember incidental details about others are perceived as more caring, more attentive, and more romantically desirable. Most people are so focused on themselves that they're not really absorbing details about others. So when you prove you were listening by bringing up something she mentioned casually weeks ago, it's like a spotlight moment. Suddenly she realizes, he was actually paying attention to me. I tested this once. I mentioned to a group of friends that I was nervous about a job interview. Weeks later, one guy asked how it went. Just one out of 6 people who heard me say it, only one remembered and cared enough to follow up. Guess who I started paying more attention to? Number 1, staying unshaken when things go sideways. Plans change, long waits, sudden stress. Most people panic or get flustered. But a man who stays calm, maybe even cracks a joke, that's composure. It tells us, if things go wrong, I can handle it. Women equate that stability with safety, and nothing makes us chase harder than a man who makes us feel secure. This is what psychologists call stress inoculation, your ability to remain functional and even optimistic when external circumstances become chaotic. Research by Dr. Suzanne Cabasa found that people who stay calm under pressure are perceived as more reliable, more competent, and more attractive as long-term partners. From an evolutionary perspective, women develop preferences for men who could maintain emotional stability during crises. But it's not just about staying calm, it's about how you reframe the situation. The man who can find humor in chaos, who can turn a frustrating delay into an opportunity for better conversation, that's leadership in action. I remember being stuck in an elevator for 2 hours with a group of people. Most were panicking, complaining, or scrolling their phones anxiously. One man started telling stories, making jokes about our unscheduled team-building exercise, and generally keeping everyone's spirits up. By the time we got out, I wasn't thinking about the inconvenience. I was thinking about him. These aren't big, flashy moves. They're everyday actions that quietly set you apart. And that's the point. They don't look like game. They look like confidence, self-possession, and presence. So tell me, which one of these are you already doing without thinking? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. And if this opened your eyes to what really makes us chase, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the next video I made for you. Until next time, pay attention, make your move, and own the moment.